Alone Together by Alexandria Amaya. The boat tipped before we could even notice. People thrashed, some diving for their things, others struggling with panic. I was trying to turn the boat back over when I saw a woman's head bobbing before going under. Her face was frightened and helpless. She reminded me of her. With arms limp and light at her sides and blonde hair cascaded around her like a halo, she looked like an angel. Clouds rolled and lightning crackled, and I pumped my limbs harder to get to her. I don't remember getting back to shore, only waking up in the sand with her in my arms, the resemblance so uncanny that I actually stopped to ask, "Diana?" When she didn't answer, I gathered her up, light as a feather, and carried her into my house. I laid her on the bed and fetched her clothes for when she woke up, when I saw a large cut on my arm that would definitely need dressing. I showered quietly and sat in the kitchen to sew myself up. I was so focused that I didn't hear her eventually come out of the room. "Hi," she said timidly, standing in the doorway. I stood quickly from my chair like a jester in the presence of the queen. "Hi, I'm Dante." She held her hand out, now standing with more confidence. "Mila." "How are you feeling?" I asked, pulling out a chair and setting down a glass of water for her. She took a seat but left the water. Surprisingly well. What happened? "The pirogue flipped and sank about a mile out. I saw you and tried my best to help." She grabbed my hand from across the table, her pale complexion contrasting mine perfectly. "You saved my life. I couldn't be more grateful." I hesitated. "Do you mind if I ask where you were heading? On the boat?" She looked out the kitchen window and stared off before answering. "I don't know. Just wanted to get away from home. Start life on my own, maybe find a friend along the way." She smiled at the last line, but kept her eyes out the window. For 8 days, Mila and I walked the island to pick out things for dinner. As we picked fruit, we saw Margaret on her porch, my only friend these past few years, and when she saw us, she waved her frail arms happily. "Oh, thank goodness you're all right," she yelled, relief on her face. "Hi, Margaret," I said as we waved back. "We're okay." "What?" I laughed, cupping my hands around my mouth. "We're okay." She gave me an odd smile before shaking her head on her way back inside. Once we got back, Mila freshened up, while I prepared a dinner of peppered salmon with mango and cottage cheese. I had just set the table when the doorbell rang. As soon as I opened the door, Margaret smothered me in a hug, followed by a harsh smack. "You rascal! I did not need any more gray hairs." "Hey," I laughed, rubbing where she hit. "I'm sorry I scared you." Yeah. Here." She handed me a casserole. "Eat, and don't make me ask twice." "You're welcome." She inspected me. "I don't know what's changed since the storm, but you look brighter and happier. Almost like she's back." I sighed. "We can thank Mila for that." "No, sweetie, I meant Diana." "I know, but Mila's been staying here and helping me a lot." She gave me a sad, sympathetic smile and patted my cheek. "Oh, that's nice, dear." Antonio pulled up to the dock outside my house and tied down his boat. I'd given Mila fresh towels, though I couldn't remember her ever turning on the water. From outside the bathroom door, I said, "Mila, I'll be outside talking to a friend. Take your time, okay?" I left to meet him at the dock after hearing a muffled reply. "You son of a bitch," he said, clapping my hand and pulling me into a hug. "Man, you scared the shit out of me, for real." "What are you talking about? It's been 2 weeks. I started wondering if you'd ever come around again. Things have been real crazy on the mainland. News reporters all in my shit and stuff, wondering what happened in that damn pirogue." He wiped his forehead. "Famous fucked, man." "Yeah, I still can't believe that happened." "I know, right when you finally decide to get your sorry ass off the island. Timing, man." "Well, it worked out pretty nice, actually, because Mila's been staying with me," I smiled, thinking of the past 2 weeks. Antonio gave me a sly grin. "Dante, you pulling some sympathy shit?" We both laughed, and it felt amazing. I tried to think of the last time I laughed like this, and it made me sad that I couldn't remember. As we caught our breath, a hummingbird whizzed by my head and towards the house, right past Mila standing in the window. I waved, but she was staring past me, at Antonio, with a blank face. "Bro, what the hell are you doing?" Antonio laughed again. "Waving to Mila. She's in the window." "Where?" "Wow, this looks incredible." Mila glided across the floor as music played on the radio. I smiled, pouring her a glass of water. "That was the boatman earlier. He's been making rounds again since the storm let up. You could get to the mainland." "Are you trying to get rid of me?" she asked, smirking. My stuttered response earned a laugh from her, making me blush. "Don't worry, Dante, I know what you mean," she said, tucking her hair behind her ear. "But I really love being here with you. I'm not sure I'm ready to leave." "I would love it if you stayed with me. I never could have imagined. Breaking news, a small boat has recently capsized off the coast of Pitcairn. Of the 10 people on board, only 7 bodies were found. The reported survivors are—" Mila abruptly stood up from the table and shut off the radio. She sat back down angrily and stabbed at her food. "I'm sorry. That was just going to ruin everything." "Do you want more water?" I offered before realizing her glass was still full. A haunted expression took over her face. "I've had enough water for a lifetime." We sat in silence before she asked, "Dante, who's Diana?" I coughed on my food, stunned. "You called me Diana. You should talk about it." Just like my Diana. Mila was blunt, yet gentle. I took a deep breath and chose my words carefully. Diana was my wife. Gone a long time now. It was years ago, back when a lot of people were getting sick. It just spread so easily. "I remember," she said quietly. "My dad got it." "Yeah, we always used to go to the mainland, but we didn't know how bad things were. She was sick for a month before she passed. I stopped going to the mainland after that. Stopped talking to people. Stopped altogether. That boat was going to be the first time I left the island since she died." "Are these her clothes?" I nodded. "Do I look like her?" "Spitting image," I whispered. "I don't know how I found you." She smiled. "Don't wonder. It spoils the journey." With that, she pulled me up and took my face in her hands, placing a passionate kiss on my lips. My arms automatically went to her waist to pull her closer. We made our way to the bedroom, our food forgotten, and got lost in each other.